It was supposed to be just another congressional hearing. The chamber was full, reporters in the back rows, cameras set up, microphones adjusted, and a crowd of aides and staffers shuffling papers. On one side sat Pam Bondi, a seasoned attorney, former Florida Attorney General, and a familiar face in political circles. Her reputation was sharp, tough, and uncompromising. When she spoke, people listened. On the other side was Jasmine Crockett, a rising Democratic congresswoman from Texas. Younger, outspoken, and already known for her fiery but intelligent exchanges on the House floor. The two women couldn't have been more different. Bondi represented the old guard of hard-charging politics. Crockett embodied the new wave, direct, unapologetic, and unafraid to challenge authority. The stage was set, the air thick with tension. No one knew that within minutes, this hearing would explode into a viral moment that the whole country would be talking about. As questioning began, the tone quickly shifted from professional to confrontational. Bondi's voice was commanding, almost aggressive. She leaned forward, emphasizing every word, trying to control the pace of the conversation. Jasmine Crockett, however, was not rattled. She listened, her eyes steady, her hands folded in front of her. When it was her turn to speak, she responded firmly, but with restraint. Bondi didn't like it. The more Crockett remained calm, the sharper Bondi's tone became. The back and forth grew heavier. And then, in a burst of frustration, Pam Bondi slammed her voice over the microphone. Her words thundered through the chamber. "Stop talking!" The room froze. The order wasn't just loud. It was commanding, almost like a shout from a judge in a courtroom. Gasps rippled through the audience. Everyone turned to Jasmine Crockett. Would she shout back? Would she lose her cool? Or would she let the moment pass? The cameras were rolling. The microphones were hot. This was her test. Crockett took a slow breath. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't even flinch. Instead, she leaned slightly toward her microphone and spoke in an even, measured tone. Her words weren't shouted, but they were powerful. So powerful, in fact, that
the silence in the room made them ring even louder than Bondi's yell. She said, "You don't get to silence me. My job is to speak for the people who put me here, and no amount of yelling will change that." There was no anger in her voice, no shakiness, just pure, steady conviction. The contrast was stunning. Bondi had shouted in anger. Crockett replied with poise, and in that moment, the power shifted. What happened next was something neither woman could control. Clips of the exchange began flooding the internet within minutes. On Twitter, users clipped the exact second Bondi yelled, followed by Crockett's calm response. On TikTok, creators added captions like, "This is how you handle power." On YouTube, compilations of the exchange were uploaded with dramatic titles. By the end of the day, the clip had gone viral. Bondi's outburst was being replayed over and over, but not in her favor. It wasn't the command, "Stop talking," that stuck with people. It was Crockett's calm, defiant reply. Headlines read, "Pam Bondi loses cool at hearing." Jasmine Crockett silences silence with calm. The 5 words that shook the chamber. Pundits on cable news debated it. Some argued that Bondi had overstepped and embarrassed herself. Others claimed Crockett had just cemented her place as one of the most fearless young voices in Congress. But one thing was undeniable. The internet had crowned its winner. The day after the hearing, Jasmine Crockett's response was still trending. It was replayed on CNN, MSNBC, Fox, and every major talk show. It became the clip of the week, the moment no one could stop discussing. Supporters praised Crockett's composure. Even those who disagreed with her politics admitted that she had shown incredible restraint under pressure. Pam Bondi, meanwhile, faced backlash. Commentators accused her of trying to silence an elected representative. On social media, memes mocked her outburst, painting her as someone who lost her cool while facing a younger, calmer opponent. Crockett's words echoed across political circles. "You don't get to silence me. My job is to speak for the people who put me here." It wasn't just a response to Bondi. It was a statement about democracy itself. It was a reminder that elected officials have a duty to speak for their constituents, no matter who tries to shout them down. And for millions of Americans watching, that message resonated deeply. In the end, Bondi had shouted the loudest, but Crockett's calm reply became the voice that carried. Because sometimes, power isn't in the yell. It's in the silence that follows, and the courage to speak calmly when the world is trying to shut you down. One yelled, one replied calmly. And in the end, it wasn't volume that won the day. It was composure, conviction, and truth. And that is why Jasmine Crockett's reply went viral instantly.